Good morning, everyone. Her Excellence, Dr. Magda Baraka, Ambassador for Egypt. Distinguished speakers, Dr. Jean Pierre Gauci, Dr. Ali Benigassan, Professor Peter Mayo, Ms. Ramona Wadi, Mr. Ali Konate, fellow migrants, colleagues and friends, greetings of solidarity. To our guests from different countries, welcome to Malta. I am Anabel Mifsud, a researcher at the University of Malta. I have been asked by the Garden of Knowledge Malta Association and the Committee for the Cancellation of Third World Debt to present this seminar, which we hope will contribute toward a better understanding of the issues and struggles confronting migrants worldwide. It is also hoped that this seminar will increase awareness on the actions of the global migrant movement against attacks on their rights and dignity. Today, I will ask you to take a step back and critically reflect upon the mainstream narrative around migration, to which we are constantly exposed, and that pervades the way the majority thinks, talks, and behaves towards migrants. Allow me to start with these two seemingly innocuous quotations which embody the mainstream narrative. Somalia, land of wars and conflicts between tribes. That was announced on Triq. This is how the mainstream explains the situation of migration. This is the image that is being promoted about the people from the global south, that tribes kill each other. There is not a word about Africa, colonialism, or IMF debt. Giuseppe Nicolini, mayor of Lampedusa in Sicily, argues that the first responsible for the situation are the countries themselves because of dictatorships and wars. Migration is fundamentally the story of the human race, from its origins up to the present day. And contrary to the popular belief, the majority of people who migrate for economic reasons or in search of protection do it inside their own country. International migrants represent 200 million people, which is equivalent to 3% of the world population. Among them, only 1/3 moved from a developing country to a developed country, which means that 60% of the migration indeed takes place between countries with the same level of development. Moreover, it is not the poorest that migrate, because migration has a cost. Only those who can afford it are able to realize their migration plans. According to Frontex, in 2012, 10,280 migrants crossed the Mediterranean from Somalia, Eritrea, and Tunisia, while 37,220 migrants came from Syria, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh. What the mainstream narrative fails to capture, or perhaps makes us forget, is the historical perspective of the turmoil and the dire situation in these countries from where these migrants come. And therefore I ask you, are we really seeing the whole picture around migration? Most of these countries of origin have been invaded and occupied by other nations in the name of imperialism. Let's just mention some of these countries. Somalia, colonized by Italy, France, and Great Britain. It gained its independence in 1954. Widespread famine and wars provoked by the USA and Africa. Eritrea, colonized by Italy and Great Britain, gained its independence from Ethiopia in 1993. Its people still live under the constant threat of military aggressions. Palestine, colonized by Great Britain and Israel. Its people have been expropriated from their own land, and refugees still live in camps in neighboring Lebanon, Syria, and Jordan. So what do you think happens to the culture, the community, and the family structure, amongst other aspects, of a country when it's dominated by another nation? What is the face of oppression? How does exploitation impact the lives of people? And if these questions urge you to go down the pages of history, may you ask yourselves, whose history am I reading? Is it the story of those who suffered oppression and exploitation, those who lost their homes and were evicted out of the land, those whose rights were violated and their freedom taken away unjustly? It is only when we come to terms with the voices of suffering that we can wear the hats of compassion and solidarity. Can we be fine with our consciences as we wash our hands on the wreckage brought about by long years of oppression and injustice? The major difference in the development between the North and the South is also due to neoliberal policies implemented by institutions in the North that serve their own purposes, like, for example, the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. Such policies include structural adjustment plans, the regulation of agricultural products, forced liberation on the whole sectors of the economy, and illegitimate debt. All these have undermined and impoverished developing countries. In front of this mass migration caused by poverty and wars, Italy, for example, criminalized boats and personnel who tried to help the immigrants during the drama that was enacted in October 2013 off the shores of Lampedusa. Is it an omission of duty to rescue a fellow human being in peril? No country should accept this type of inhuman law. Once they arrive at the host countries, these immigrants are at times detained for months on end in detention camps in appalling conditions. Immigrants are further dehumanized by being called illegal. No human should dehumanize another human being. Acts and behaviors may be illegal, but no human being is illegal. Let us for a while enter into the shoes of a migrant. Migrants are without mobility, deprived of their freedom, surrounded by politics that rejects them and suppresses their voice. It's a legal torment. They suffer from increasing racism and xenophobia and have to integrate in a society that refuses them. Moreover, the current economic climate makes their insertion all the more a drama. Black people and Muslims, as well as Eastern Europeans and Latin Americans, amongst others, are under continuous racist threats. We can observe the increasing power of right extremist groups that are gaining popularity with their nationalist and racist narratives inside the EU. But there is another face to the coin. Immigrants can bring to the table so much more than they actually cost to the receiving nations. This is evidenced by numerous academic studies. However, this is only possible as long as we are open to sharing what Mother Earth has given us so freely and abundantly, as long as we are willing to leave our comfort zones of resistance and allow ourselves to be changed by our experiences and life itself. Some countries, such as Russia and Italy, are now thinking of humanitarian solutions like getting out of Schengen, setting a human corridor from Libya, or the new Mare Nostrum operation, which is ironically called a military and a humanitarian operation. How can a humanitarian operation that involves fighter jets, military sea lift ships, and submarines instill trust and reassurance? What is disappointing is the lack of will on the part of European states that are reluctant to challenge an unfair fortress that keeps us removed from the bigger picture around migration. I would like to end this introduction by thanking the Garden of Knowledge Malta Association and the Committee for the Cancellation of Third World Debt for giving me this opportunity to present this seminar and to voice some of my inner thoughts on the sensitive issue, an issue that as a white female living in privilege, I bear its weight. For each and everyone is in some way responsible to bring change. It is only by moving away from the dualistic mindset of us and them, we are right and you are wrong, as depicted by mainstream narrative, that we can truly understand the full complexity of the matter, it is only by accepting the nuances of history that we can acknowledge our share in the current situation and disentangle ourselves from this pitiful blame game that leaves us all losers. It is only then that we can engage positively with the issue of migration and embark on the journey to heal the wounds of our human family. Thank you for listening. But now let's hear what our speakers have to say on the subject and engage in a mutual dialogue. We are sorry to inform you that the presentation by Dr. Maria Pisani has been cancelled. We're going to start this seminar by a short documentary which has been done by a Chilean director. The name is Dem Wala De, to live or to die. I'm not sure about the pronunciation of that. I hope I said it right.